two more things related to wow ideas. I want to share with you where to get wow ideas. Two more. I have a whole ton of these things. And I want to share with you where not to get wow ideas, because that could be equally as important. Don't look for wow ideas in this section. Okay, so here is it. Number one, where to find wow ideas. Whatever people are doing, go the opposite way. Whatever people are doing, go the opposite way. There's this statement that that never left my mind, and that is, you know, when the gold rush happened, I don't know when it happened, in California, and everybody went, I don't know, like 100 years ago or something like that. There was a gold rush in California, 49, San Francisco 49ers. So when that gold rush happened, everybody went to try to find gold. But they said the person who thrived in that era was in that area was the person who was selling pans. Like, you know, in order to pick up the gold, the person who sold pans to everybody is the one that succeeded. And they say, like, Levi Strauss jeans, Levi's jeans, when you're down looking for gold, you need clothing that's not going to rip. So Levi's jeans comes along and they sell the jeans to everybody, and then they become a very successful company. They're the jeans that everybody needs to go searching for gold. If everybody's going in a direction, let's try this. All of us here, let's come up with wow ideas. And I'll be brutally honest, if your idea is not wow, so be it. If everybody that around you, like Instagram, you have all these sisters that are doing, I'm doing coaching for sisters. Sisters doing coaching for sisters. Okay, no problem. I'm sure some people here are doing that as well. How do you go in the opposite direction? How do you go in the opposite direction of sisters doing coaching for sisters? Give me a shot. What do you think? What would make a wow idea? Go in the exact opposite direction. What would your idea be? Let's try it out. Sisters on Instagram doing coaching for sisters. So if he just says adventures for sisters, Okay, I like it. Camilla says sisters doing coaching for brothers. Nice. I like it. Brothers doing coaching for brothers. Yeah, I've seen that before. Sisters coaching brothers, coaching for brothers. Come on, guys, break your brains out of this Instagram training for sisters who are doing coaching for other sisters on Instagram. I like that. Amira says they coach me. Oh, I like it. I like it. So rather than you coaching them, they coach you. One more. Come on, guys. I just hear the same things. Sisters coaching brothers. Okay, come on, more than that. Retreats for coaches. Being a coach or coaching certification for sisters who coach sisters. So back to what we said, if this is the gold rush in California, and instead of searching for gold, you want to sell the pans to everybody or sell the jeans to everybody, what could you sell, or what could be your idea to all these sisters coaches? Ask the question, what is their pain? What is their pain? And then go the opposite direction from there, something that all of them would need. So I got an idea. What if all these Instagram sisters selling Instagram, what if you could do tailored Instagram posting for each coach? They all have problems doing marketing and being present on social media. What if I could take that off your back and do the Instagram marketing and messaging for you, and you just do your business? So it could be like selling the pen, I don't know. IT services. I like it for old school. I will set up the database for you. It's just true. By the way, I'll tell you guys that social media managers that are really good and can actually get results are in high demand. So if you like to spend time on Instagram, you like to spend time on social media, master it. Become the master of that, because there are so many companies that need that kind of skill. Okay. The next way to get your wow idea is what I call the tyranny of being the best in the world. The tyranny of being the best in the world. What I'm about to tell you took me many years of pain to finally understand. What I'm about to tell you, do not take this lightly. Do not take it lightly. At least 10 years to figure this out. And once I figured it out, all the pain and suffering and mental anguish went away. So one thing that you'll see is that a lot of people talk about being the best in the world, the best, florist in the world, the best fashion brand in the world, the best coach in the world, the best blah, blah, blah in the world, the best in the world, best in the world. And me too, I started on Maghrib Institute. I'm like, I want to be the best Islamic educational institution in the world, in the history of Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is pretty big. So what I learned from that is when you insist on being the best, and by the way, tell me in the comments, have you thought of being the best? Have you already thought of your idea, we're going to be the best in the world? Of course. That's what we're trained to do, be the best. Here's the problem with that. Being the best in the world will necessitate that other people have to fail in order for you to succeed. Okay, again, if you say that you want to be the best in the world, it necessitates that others must fail in order for you to succeed. That's where jealousy comes in. That's where, sabotaging somebody else's project. That's when you see your brothers and sisters, they're doing good and you hate them and like, why are they doing good and stuff like that. It all comes from this tyranny of being the best. So this is one word that will save you 5 to 10 years of pain and anguish. And that is the word among the best. Oh Allah, make me among the best mothers. Oh Allah, make me among the best fashion brands in the world. Oh Allah, make me among the best coaches in the world. Oh Allah, make me amongst the prophets and the shuhada and the salihin, yawm al-qiyamah in Jannatul Firdaus, amongst them, ma'an nabiyyin, right, with, amongst them, وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and be with the righteous people. So this little word, like I said, will save you 5 to 10 years of mental anguish and trying to sabotage and fighting with other organizations, stuff like that, because your idea doesn't have to be the best. You don't have to, like, I've seen some people that are like, hey, I want to start, this cat business, but there's a Muslim organization here that does a cat business. So I must quit my idea because there can only be one, the best. So I say in response, how about you and them and a couple of others do this cat business, not necessarily in competition, but a collection of the best cat businesses out there. And that comes up with like Islamic institutions. Suppose you want an Islamic educational institution. You don't have to be the only gig in town. You don't have to be the only one doing Islamic education. You can, there could be multiple. How many universities are there in the US? There's so many. And they're all full and they all have people. The same thing can be for your idea. It can be full. I mean, the ummah needs more and more, not less and less, and only one. So that's another way to approach your wow idea is do not tell yourself that you need to be the best in the world. Tell yourself that to be amongst the best. and that opens a whole avenue of collaborations and support for one another and all these good things, inshallah. Now, let me tell you guys where not to get your wow ideas, where not to look for ideas. This is equally important because just like I'm telling you, hey, this is where you get ideas from, then all of a sudden some uncle of yours is going to tell you, hey, let me tell you, I went to school too. This is where I got ideas. And they tell you an idea like, hey, get a mortgage and pay for 30 years and buy a house, and that's how you'll be wealthy. Like that's, like they say, free advice can be some of the most expensive advice you'll ever get in your life. Free advice may be the most expensive advice you get in your life because it wastes your time, it wastes your money, it wastes your life, because this free advice will take you down a pitfall in a mountain, and you might not be able to recover from it for many years. You know how I keep saying that recovery from this issue might take 5 years, 10 years? Because that's how life is. When it comes to these businesses, you take a misstep or you get the wrong advice and you launch a company and you go through the, you build it and it doesn't work out and you have to rewind. That's what I'm talking about, like 3-5 years like this. So the first of these no thought situations is, the first place to not look for wow ideas is no thought situations. No thought situations. So what do I mean by no thought situations? A no thought situation is when you get an idea and you have not spent time really assessing it. So let me, an example of a no thought situation, and actually this is related to food. For me, I won't eat a snack unless I've spent time thinking about it. Because then I know that my craving for the snack is real. So right now, for example, the snack that I'm craving is a hamburger. I'm craving a hamburger. I don't know why, but I have thought about it. I was typing, Tisha, this is for you. I was typing something and I wanted to tell Tisha, you know what? I need a hamburger right now. Like it's in my mind. I've been thinking about it. It's those kind of situations that I've spent time thinking about that I will act upon. A situation that I will not act upon, yeah, it's a snack because it's not, hamburgers are not real meals kind of thing. A situation that I would not act upon is if you're ever in a checkout line, like you're at a supermarket or something like that, and all of a sudden you feel like you want a Snickers bar, or you feel like, hey, I want to get that magazine. I want to get, you spent no time thinking about this. How come all of a sudden you feel like a chocolate bar? And something in that atmosphere is triggering it. That could be a color. It could be like the color red, which is scientifically proven, you know, to make you hungry. It could be like some advertisement programming they kicked off. That craving is fake. That craving is fake. And then, so I tell myself, why is it that I've only spent 5 seconds, now all of a sudden I feel like a chocolate bar? This is not real. If I just wait another 20 seconds, I will not really crave this anymore. Okay, so your ideas are like that. If you haven't spent, I'll give you an idea. This is a brother that told me that his idea was to, he saw some sisters buying diapers, yeah, diapers. I don't know what the British term for diapers is. Nappies, yeah. And then he saw some other sisters buying diapers, and then he said, I want to start a diaper business. I want to, you know, create diapers. And I said, like, hold on. Is this profitable for you? Yes, that's why he thought of this idea. Is it fun? And he's a guy. How exciting is it to go wholesale diaper shopping? So it's not fun. Is it beneficial? You know what, you know, so you save them like $1 or $2 on their diapers. It's not really beneficial that, you know, you spend your time on this. So that was like a no thought situation. He just saw an idea, like, let me do this. What I just said happens to all of us. We just like these ideas just pop in our heads. Like, hey, I should try this. Hey, I should try that. You haven't really thought it out. There's no thought behind those things. There's no deliberation. And those kind of ideas tend to, if you go to sleep and wake up the next day, you'll find that it's a junk idea. Okay, so the second place where you not to get wow ideas is asking the wrong questions. So the question that I do not like is when somebody says, does this sound like a good idea? We always hear this question being said, does this sound like a good idea? And I hate that question. Hate is a strong word. I don't really hate it. It's more like I prefer other questions to it. So when somebody says, you know what, selling diapers on Amazon, does that sound like a good idea? This is my response. The correct question should be, is this a wow idea better than anything else I've deliberated on for the past 30 ideas? Is it fun, beneficial, and profitable? And is it the best use of my time and skills at present? Do you see how that's a lot different than asking, is this a good idea? I'll repeat that again. It's like this. And even if you miss what I'm saying here, you can come back to this recording. It says, is this a wow idea? Okay, so selling diapers on Amazon. Is this a wow idea better than anything else that you've deliberated on for the past 30 ideas? Is it fun? Is it beneficial to other people? Is it profitable? And is it the best use of your time and skills at this present moment? Okay, then you'll see that the answer is a resounding no. Depending on the question, your idea will thrive or it won't thrive. Okay, so that's kind of like warming you back up. Yesterday, we were talking about the wow idea. This 5-day soup challenge, I want you to get you want you to come out, hey, this is my idea, and take your first steps, inshallah ta'ala, towards moving it forward. Okay, the next thing that you're gonna face, I call these, I mean, it would be better if you had a different analogy, but the reality is what I'm about to tell you is a dragon that's standing, you know, the princess or whatever, or the gold or whatever is behind the dragon. And now the dragon is, you're going to face it. And that is the stories that we tell ourselves as to why we can or cannot do something. The stories that we tell ourselves as to why we can or cannot do something. And it's usually why we cannot do it. Actually, you know, I have a whole bunch of examples for this, but let me share with you this example. I have a friend who went for medical weight loss. He went for medical weight loss, meaning that, you know, they were giving him injections and he was meeting with a doctor and so on, and he was supposed to do some exercise. And so the doctor says to him, have you been doing your exercise? And then, have you been doing your exercise? And then my friend said to the doctor, no, my knees are hurting. And the doctor responded and he said, bullshit. He literally said that, and he shocked my friend. It wasn't me. He shocked him and he said, have you ever heard of something called swimming? Have you ever heard of something called swimming? And I love that because we take our stories and we tell ourselves, I can't exercise because my knees are hurting. But there's actually, and by the way, this actually happened to me. I was doing a fitness challenge and I injured my hip. I could not do any leg cardio, even though I had like a cardio challenge that I was doing. I'm telling you, there's actually multiple ways. There's actually multiple ways that you can deal with, you can still exercise. One of them is a ski machine. One of them is like a standing up bicycle, but you're doing it with your hands. You can do boxing. get on the glove, just put on some gloves and do boxing. Do you see what I'm saying? That once you just say, hey, you know what, this is my situation, but I'm not going to accept it, I'm going to like go beyond, you actually open up more alternatives for yourself. I love those exercise machines. I love the ski machine. I love the box. I'm doing boxing, and those are cardio as well. But that aside, let's talk about the stories that you tell yourself. The stories that you tell yourself. Tell me if I'm not wrong. You want to start your business. Let's get right down to the real one. And you tell yourself, I'm an imposter. Who am I to coach other people? I'm the one who needs coaching. So the first story that we tell ourselves is, I'm not worthy of providing the service for other people. And that happens to, let's say, a sheikh. He studies sheikh, studies deen, and then studies deen, and then has to give lectures about being the best person in the world when the sheikh knows, hey, this is not who I am. Right? Like, I'm not perfect. If you're a coaching business or this and that, I'm an imposter. Who am I? Am I qualified? Thank you, Nazia. The second type of story that you might tell yourself is, I don't have the resources to do this. I want to do it, but I don't have the resources. Resources meaning like, I don't have a team. I don't have funding. I don't have a website. I don't have an app. I don't have a social media manager. I don't have resources. Is the second story. Yes, Faiza is saying no time. Faiza, point number 3. I won't have time to do this. Like, yeah, I really want to do this, but Faiza said, there was a Faiza that said that? Somebody just said funding. Faiza said no time. Actually, this idea is, I won't have time. Like, I have time now, but if I start a business, this is actually a really big one. If I start a business, or I start the kind of like my, idea, my NicheHero idea, whatever, that I'm not going to have time. And if we don't deal with these stories, they become our life. Like, some people actually succeed in life, and other people have a story that's like a little cuddle bear that they go to sleep with at night. And people say, why haven't you started that wonderful idea that you've been working on? And then you say, if I started it, I wouldn't have time. And they're like, whatever. If I started it, I wouldn't have time. And so you hug your bear, you go to sleep. And after a couple of years of doing that, then you see your friends started businesses. You see other people doing the business that you wanted to do, other people thriving. You start building up this regret. I should have done it. You have tons of time. You have tons of time. Hey, for all the moms in the house, how about this one? I'm getting really serious with the moms here. Have you ever, actually, I don't know about the moms. It's for dads, but have you ever said something like, if I start a business or if I follow my dreams, I won't have time to spend with the kids? Have you ever said that? I won't have time to spend, I want to spend time with the kids. If I do this, I won't have time for the kids. The reason it's actually not for moms, because this is what I said to myself. I'm like, I want to spend time with the kids. I don't have time to go out and follow my dreams or anything like this. My kids were traveling. This is a couple of years ago. My kids were traveling, and by the way, one of the biggest stories we tell ourselves is blaming the kids. Like, if the kids could talk to us, they would tell us to shut up and go do what you need to do, because you already spend 8 hours a day on social media. Don't tell me that you're not doing this because you want to spend quality time with the kids. How about you just shut off Instagram and go, now you have 8 hours in your day to go spend, build your dreams, instead of blaming the kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is what happened to me. I'm like, it's the kids. I'm not doing. And then I noticed that even when I'm with the kids, I don't spend quality time with them. I'm just like in the general proximity of the kids, but I'm not spending quality time with them. And then they traveled, and I was by myself. I was in an apartment by myself. And I still didn't do what I was blaming the kids for the reason why I don't do it. They weren't even there, and I was still not doing it, desperately searching for another valid excuse to make my story and make me feel better when I go to sleep. Do you see what I'm saying? So Instagram, on our phones, 8 hours a day, all you need to do is take 2 hours out of that. And let's deal with some of these stories. So I'm not just going to throw these stories out at you. I'm going to address them. So the first thing is, I won't have time. The first excuse I'd like to address, obviously, and actually later on, I would love you guys to post in the Facebook group, tell us what's been your story so far and what would you like your new story to be? Because when you let your story out to the world, you'll find that there's other people that don't really have that story. They've got their own silly stories, but your story might not connect with somebody else, and they can give you some advice that, like, look, it's not true. So here's one of them. Here's one of those stories, and it's, I won't have time. When I started on Mugler Institute, I was, in multiple cities and very successful, alhamdulillah, right from like day one. And I remember a doctor brother who took our classes, and he saw me playing games. This was like in New Jersey. He saw me like going on tour in New Jersey. Hey, we're gonna go check this out and stuff like that. And he said, it's shocking how little time you actually work, but you get so much done, Muhammad. It's shocking because it's just, you just have to be strategic about how you do the work. And I tell people, like, if you want more time in your life, you need to make more money. You need to aim to more. I know it sounds like, oh, you're going to spend the time. Like, for example, if you own the business, you would have more time than being an employee. An employee has to work, let's say, 12 hours a day, and the boss can go on vacation, come back, check this out, make sure things are working. When you aim for higher levels, you actually get more time. If somebody tells you that, hey, when I started building up my businesses and I had less time, what that person is saying is that they don't know how to manage people. They don't know how to manage things. They haven't used time techniques. They're trying to be a perfectionist for some reason. And those kind of people actually make bad managers. If I was hiring somebody and they said something like that to me, like, oh, I spent so much time, I'm like, then you're not being efficient. You don't know how to manage people. Second story that we tell ourselves is, I don't have the resources, such as I don't have funding, or there's nobody that wants to volunteer, nobody wants to help me. And the thing is, with the resources, is that almost everything is free these days. It's free. You know how somebody says, why is everything, why all the good stuff you have to pay for? I get that a lot. So if it's not a lot, but there's always somebody that makes that comment. When we sell a class and somebody says, why is everything you have to pay? I'm like, no, that you don't have to pay for these things. That's free. So social media is free. Google Documents is free. Email delivery up until like 2,000 contacts is free. PayPal to make payments is technically free, but to process online payments, you have Zoom, which is free. And we're living in amazing times. Everybody's like dropping everything free. And they let you build up to a level that when those services start charging you, you're already making money to pay for those services. There's free services to, literally the whole world is full of great ideas of free things that are available to you. Entire university courses are available, you name it. The resources are there. Maybe in the olden days mean like the 1930s, you needed like resources, but now everything is free. The last one we'll talk about here is I'm an imposter. I'm not qualified. Who am I to be speaking about this? I'll tell you a little backstory. So, little backstory. In the UK, they have back in I don't know if they do it, but there's this famous Queen Mary University. I know all the UK people are like, what? Did he say Queen Mary? Yes. Queen Mary University has this annual dinner. And they invite speakers, and they get like big speakers. It's a really big event for students to come together and stuff like that. Again, this was like how many years ago? Like you're talking about 2009 or something like that. Maybe even older than that. Maybe it was 20 years ago. I don't even remember how. It was a very long time ago. Yeah, it could have been like 2002. This is when this happened. Cool. No, it's in London. And Samina says, I love those annual dinners. I know the UK people are. So I got invited. This is like Muhammad Sharif, up and coming speaker, young guy, mashallah, tabarakallah, fiery speaker, not fiery, but like, yeah, whatever. So I got invited to this event, and I was going to be one of the main speakers. And then after like a few weeks, I hadn't heard anything from them. So I contacted them and I said, hey, brother, so is this annual dinner happening? And then he said to me, he said, oh, so sorry. Did you think you were invited? We're so sorry. We invited somebody else. So my Queen Mary annual dinner invitation was canceled. And do you know why it was canceled? It was canceled because I had a friend in Medina who was a British student who is extremely knowledgeable, mashallah, tabarakallah. Like when I was like failing classes, and this brother, who's my friend, was getting like 95%, this and that, and like 90%, 95%, blah, blah, blah. He got so like really high marks. So they asked him his opinion about them inviting Muhammad Sharif. And he said, oh, this guy's a punk. He doesn't know anything. He's an imposter. Arrest him. He's an imposter. And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling Medina University graduate stuff. Okay. Yeah, so what happened was, so the reason that I'm telling you guys this is between me and that brother, Allah yahfadhu, my friend, 20 years later, he's like, I think he's an imam in a little musalla in London or something like that, or he's very knowledgeable. If you look at, like how life works, you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person to make the biggest impact, or make impact that's amongst the biggest in the organization. So it doesn't matter. Actually, even just yesterday, my wife was looking at my marks from Medina University. And then she said, astaghfirullah, your marks are so low, Muhammad. Not all my marks. Your marks are so low, Muhammad. And I'm like, look, nobody looks at the mark sheets of your university. They're only looking at, did you graduate or not? If you graduated, alhamdulillah, that's it. That's all anybody ever cares about. After that, it's the results that you provide for people. If you provide the results for people, nobody cares about your qualification or anything like that. And to be honest, if you notice my style in when I'm teaching, I'm vulnerable. I'm vulnerable. And I get a lot of comments that say, hey, I really appreciate you being real with us, Muhammad. I'm like, I don't like to make up a story, some fake story of, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I never make a mistake. We're human beings. I actually really dislike about the internet that people try to show that they're perfect. I'm like, and whenever somebody makes a mistake, everybody's like, look, he made a mistake or she made a mistake. It's called being human. It's just that now on the internet, that mistake is magnified. I'm like, but everybody makes mistakes. And I'm like, hey, let me share with you guys my mistakes. And I feel better being human rather than trying to put up some fake facade and stuff like that.